Hello, everybody. Happy Friday, and welcome to Crypto Traders. And as majority of you know, Crypto Traders is a place where we eat, drink, sleep, and invest in cryptocurrencies. And just a little disclaimer before we get started, and that's just to kind of remind everyone that I'm not a licensed financial advisor, and what I do talk about on these live streams is not to be taken as trading advice. And if that is something you're looking for, please consult a licensed financial advisor. And the information that I do provide is for educational purposes and only educational purposes. So with that being said, happy Friday, everybody. Carl, welcome. Hope you're doing well. Who else do we have on this live stream? And if you're new, don't be shy. Say what's up. And if you haven't done so already, please click on that subscribe button as well as the post notification so that you're notified every time the video is uploaded or I schedule a live stream or do spur of the moment type of live stream if there's crazy things that are happening in the market. But you can also connect with us on Steemit, Twitter, Facebook, as well as sign up for our mailing list. And there are links at the bottom of this video, or you can just go to www.cryptotradersroom.com and sign up for our general mailing list. And what we'll do is we'll give you access to our general chat room. Now, remember, it's just a free general chat room to kind of keep this conversation going after the live stream ends and kind of gives everybody a place to kind of hang out and be able to converse with other cryptocurrency fans. And then you will have the ability to be able to upgrade that free general chat room to our actual traders chat room, where a good amount of the action does happen, where people are really providing some really great fundamental and technical analysis, or even some breaking news on whatever that might be happening. So we will give you guys the ability to be able to upgrade that as well too. But with that being said, I don't know what you guys think about Ripple or Ethereum overtaking Bitcoin by at least, beginning of 2018 in the sense of market cap. My speculation is that Ripple is going to do it before Ethereum or really any other cryptocurrency does. Ripple really only needs to get up to, a little over $1 currently right now to kind of overtake Bitcoin, and that's as long as Bitcoin stays somewhat stagnant and doesn't really move up to that upside of $4,000 or $5,000. But with a market cap of already 11 million or 11 billion, and Ethereum being 20 billion, one of them is going to catch up. And my speculation is that Ripple is probably going to catch up to Bitcoin before Ethereum actually does. And Ethereum really would have to get up to that $500 price range in order for it to even come close to overtaking it. And that's as long as Bitcoin doesn't really move up to the upside like it has. Greetings, Bob. ECS, welcome, buddy. Good morning. Victor, good morning. Bob, what are you saying? Listen, normally you'd be at work for another 2 hours in the UK, 2:30 p.m. here at the moment. Yeah, it's early for me. It's only about 9:30 here. So it's really adult beverage time for you, Bob, where you are. For me, though, it's coffee. Strong Starbucks coffee for me today. But welcome, guys. I do appreciate it for joining, especially on this Friday, sunny, nice Friday day where I'm at. But let's take a look and see what's going on today in the sense of some of the cryptocurrencies. But it seems to be kind of somewhat of a red day today. Crypto Journey, welcome. Kofi, welcome. Yeah, what did you want to ask me, Crypto Journey? I'll be happy to answer any question as best as I can. But yeah, everything is just about in the red today. I mean, a couple of things are on the green. Let's see, we got Rep up 3%, up to 24 bucks. I mean, that's impressive for Rep. And I wish I would have invested or traded Rep a while back. Doji isn't doing too bad, 5%. Namecoin, less than 0.5%. Dash is up, not much really at all. BTS, 17%. That's really seems to be the winner today is BTS, up 17.5%, but everything else seems to be kind of down. Futures is up, which is kind of good. It's not up much. For BTC, it's only up basically 0.3%. But LTC is up 2%, a little over 2% in futures, which is kind of a good sign that there are people out there that betting that the LTC price is going to go up, considering the future prices goes up. But overall, it is down 7%. So we'll see exactly what it'll do later on to see if that 7% will actually decrease and get up in the green. Strat looks good. Yeah, I'm sure it does, man. There's a lot of coins out there that look good. It's just a matter of having that trust in them. And is it a pump and dump? With a lot of these coins, little coins, majority of the time they're pump and dumps. They don't really sustain the move that they have. Yeah, Crypto Journey, I know who you are. That's really completely up to you. And basically what my crypto journey, aka Jose, is asking is that if Ethereum goes really high and he sells for cash, should he send the cash to Coinbase or somewhere else? What do I recommend? Really, that's completely up to you, man, where you decide to send the cash to. It all depends, what you need to use it for. Um, I really can't recommend where you put your money. You definitely want to spread it out amongst, different types of exchanges, just in case, I mentioned it before, in case one exchange does go down, you do have the ability to be able to trade on a different exchange so that you're not kind of stuck in limbo and not being able to trade, especially if there's significant moves that are happening within the market. You want to be able to take advantage of those and capture those types of moves. So if you're kind of stuck on one exchange with all your funds, then you might not be able to place a trade for that day until the website is back up and running. Bob, you'd be interested in Ripple if it gets to 20 cents? I think it will, 18 cents. We'll look at it. I looked at it this morning, and I think, I was really looking for that 11 cents, 11.8 cents basically. But the low that it hit was basically right a little under 15 cents. I think it was like 14.5 cents. But I think, if Ripple really gets to 18 cents, I think I would be happy to take a position at 18 cents. I mean, really, it went up 100% from May 27th. Basically being at less than 15 cents to hitting 32 cents. So over 100% if you're able to capture that type of move. Victor, welcome, buddy. What are the best ways to keep fees low? For example, setting a market order instead of an instant, leveraging USD wallet instead of buying Bitcoin and buying XRP. The best way to keep fees low is really not pay that much in commission. And that's why I kind of like utilizing GDAX, because anytime I place a limit, buy or sell, I'm not going to pay a commission. But with that market buy or market sell, or even stop sell order, you are going to have to pay commission on that. But look at your profits that you made. That's going to completely outweigh the fees. There are times where I'm going to probably end up doing a market order because just how fast it's moving. There's no way for me to be able to go in and put in a limit order and expect it to execute. If I really want to get skin in the game, I'm going to have to pull that trigger and do a market order. Yeah, that's my biggest concern, crypto journey, is that if I was to go from one alt to another alt, how do I know what that other alt is going to do? So I'm still kind of at risk with that other alt. So that's why I kind of like going to USD. But that's completely up to you. I do like Bitfinex. I also like Coinbase or GDAX in the sense that I can be in cash and sleep at night pretty well and wake up the next morning and know exactly what the value is that I have in USD. Market orders and instant orders, to me, those are the exact same things. When you place a market order, it's an instant order that you're placing. So those are exactly the same things. I don't know if you meant limit order. But yeah, if you want to get your skin in the game and you want to be in that position, you definitely got to do a market order, especially if it's just moving. You're not going to be able to capture that bottom by putting in a limit order, because then it just might move up against you, and then you're going to have to actually move up your buy order. So there are some times where if I see something is heavily dipping and it's dipping quick, and it's going to end up rising real quick as well too, because really the faster they fall within a couple candlesticks, the faster that the rebound is going to be. So in those situations, you definitely want to utilize that market order. But then you also got to watch out of slippage, and I've mentioned that before in the video. You really got to look at that order book and see exactly what's in that order book on the sell side. So if you're buying, you want to make sure that the amount of coins that you're buying kind of support the orders that are in the book for the sell side. Because if they're not, then you're going to see a big slippage, and then you could actually end up paying probably a little more than what you were expecting. So if you're looking to buy, let's just say 100 Ethereums, and there isn't a seller or there's multiple sellers of increments, just little fractions of that coin, then more than likely there's going to be a huge slippage, and you're going to end up paying more for a good amount of the coins that you buy. I like them both. I really do. And I do have a link at the bottom of this video. Crypto Traders Room is an affiliate of Coinbase as well as Bitfinex. So if you are looking to start an account at Coinbase or Bitfinex, please utilize those links. It'll definitely help out Crypto Traders Room. It'll help you out as well too, especially if you're going to sign up with Coinbase, where they will give you $10 worth of Bitcoin once you place a buy or sell order of at least minimum $100. Any exchange I would not use. there's tons of exchanges out there. Poloniex, I'm a little leery. I mean, I do use Poloniex. I have used them in the past. I rarely use them. I don't think you guys have seen too many live streams with me really utilizing Poloniex. But I do have a little bit of funds there, as well as Bittrex, but I really don't utilize those too much at all, to be honest with you. Yeah, I mean, in the sense of Bitfinex, they're going to have different prices. At one point, Bitfinex was a lot higher than GDAX. Now the tides have kind of turned where GDAX is a lot higher than Bitfinex, and that's perfect opportunity for arbitrage to be able to take, some of the coins that you bought from one exchange at a lower price to move it over to another exchange, and that's kind of what I do with Bitfinex and GDAX, is I really utilize them for arbitrage. But I do like GDAX a lot better because then I'm able to leverage margin. So I do have access to margin on GDAX, or I don't have access to margin on Bitfinex. They will not give me access at all, considering I'm a U.S. resident. Maybe that'll change later on, and if it does, that'll be great. But I've basically gone kind of back and forth between Bitfinex and GDAX arbitraging. But yeah, the prices could definitely fluctuate. But let's take a look at some of these coins and see exactly what's going on today. Ethereum, I don't know if you guys read that fake news, that old news that was out, I don't know, it was a couple of days ago, about a hack on Ethereum. And I don't know if some people reacted the wrong way to it and actually just read the headline and placed the trade and got out of their position. But really that old news article that was just circulated to drop the price down really didn't have that much of an effect on it. It definitely kept Ethereum from moving up. It kept it pretty stagnant, but it didn't drop it too much where people panicked because they saw the headline. It really dropped at $10, and that wasn't much of a drop at all. But yeah, I did click on that news article. I looked at it. The first thing I did was just look at the timestamp and saw that it was from June 17th, 2016. I was like, God, this is old news. And I can't believe they're trying to circulate old news to try to drive the price down. And I've seen that happen many times in the stock market where they'll just start putting out, especially short sellers, because they want the price to drop. They're in at a high position. They don't want the price to go against them. So they'll put out an old news, not necessarily fake news. It's not fake. I mean, it was just an old news from a year ago. So they'll dig up old news and kind of put it out there as new news. And if you don't really read in between the lines about when it was date stamped, you might think, wow, there's actually a hack that's happening on Ethereum. Let me get out of my position. And that would cause you to get out of your position without really, reading between the lines and really taking those headlines with a grain of salt. But Ethereum, I mean, it's not doing too bad, even though it is really downtrending from its high of 238. It's really not doing too bad to be at 222, 221. Yes, it is dropping now, so we're going to really pay attention to it and see, how far it's going to get. But let's go ahead and take a look at Crypto Watch, actually. Then we're going to take a look at the chart on Coinbase. So this is still the same, resistance and support line that I've drawn out. So what I'm going to do is basically, when I draw out, I'll draw out new support and resistance every Monday, and I'll keep those same resistance and support until Friday or the following Monday, just to kind of see, if my prediction on those support and resistance were accurate. So far, they haven't really failed me, and that's why I took those profits, like I explained on the last live stream, why I took the profit at 185, 200, and 217, because those were the resistance, and they did exactly what I thought they would do. They didn't have a major dip, but they did correct, just minor correction to the downside. But if I was at my computer, and if it dropped significantly, I would have probably tried to take advantage of that price drop and buy back in and get back into the position. But all in all, I mean, even though it is, somewhat down today from its high of 238, it's really not bad. It's down $19 from its high. I think for Ethereum, that's not really too big of a drop. To be honest with you, it's still somewhat in this consolidation phase. It is still moving sideways, where it's not downtrending at all, or it's not uptrending. So, like I've said in the past, cryptocurrency or stock are only really going to do three things. They're going to move up, they're going to move down, they're going to move sideways. And that's exactly what it's doing. It's moving sideways. So this is basically kind of the consolidation phase. And the tighter this consolidation gets, the more lift to the upside we're going to have. So we don't really want to see a wider gap between the consolidation. And, it did have a nice little gap between 205.77 and 238.97. But I think that gap is getting narrower and narrower as it consolidates a little more. Yeah, Bob. I mean, you could absolutely be right. Especially with Ethereum, with the three biggest exchanges in China allowing the trade of Ethereum. Yeah, that would definitely have something to do with the move. It definitely does. And I'm surprised they waited this long to actually have, uh, Ethereum on their platform to be able to trade. But yeah, so I mean, right now, really for Ethereum, its resistance is going to be that high. So if we really don't look at the wick, that high is going to be about 230. It'll have somewhat of an issue unless it really breaks out with strong volume, where there's more buying than selling that's going on. But 236, 237, we'll see what it does and see if it breaks out above it, or is it going to stop at that place and consolidate just a little more. Let's also take a look at Litecoin. And I was trying to get into Litecoin, but I was waiting for a dip to the resistance that I have here, or actually the support, I'm sorry, of 2310, 2315-ish. I was really waiting for it to come down. And once we had this nice little drop here from 29.94, almost $30, and these are the same resistance that I drew out. This has not been changed at all. The support, the resistance is still the same. I think this might have been from Wednesday's video, when I actually drew out the resistance and the support for Litecoin. So this has not changed at all, and it did exactly what I had expected it to do. So as we can see in the circle here, it got to that resistance and pulled back, and it pulled back to the basically the support line that I had drawn out, and it pulled back exactly to that price point, and basically it stayed within that range of the support and the resistance. But once it eventually did break out above that strong, I mean, really, honestly, I mean, this is a very strong resistance that it had, because it attempted to break out where the circle is. It didn't break out. It attempted to break out here again. It couldn't do it. Here again, it couldn't do it. Finally, it retraced a little bit back down to where the support was that was drawn out. And then what do you know? When it came back up very nice and consolidated above the resistance, and it stayed above that resistance. And a lot of traders looked at it and said, okay, this is pretty healthy, because it did stay above that resistance. It didn't really touch that resistance and come crashing back down like it did here in these three circles that I have, and they did pull back down a little bit. So once traders see that, it broke above the resistance, it's consolidating at that resistance, and then what do you know? Traders bought it up because they saw the pattern. They knew that it was going to have a nice uptick to the upside, and the volume basically brought it right back up to that 29.94, which was basically another resistance that it had. And it basically got stopped right at that 29. What did I put the resistance to? 29.85 is what I put it to. So it got right to it, pulled back down, attempted again, got just a little over it, but got really pulled back. So this pullback is really what I was waiting for, but I was waiting for this pullback to get back down to the prior resistance, or to the prior support, which would have been about the 2310, 2315. So we'll see what she does in this range here to see if it's going to form, to see if it'll actually form a new support at the current support where consolidated. So it's only a matter of minutes or seconds before we see either if it breaks it, or if it hovers above it and consolidates, and basically stays within the support, within the resistance and the support. And that's probably what it's going to end up doing, just like it did here, where it basically stayed between the support and the resistance, and it basically just channeled that up and down. So there's a possibility it could do that, as long as there isn't a lot of selling that's happening to cause the price to break below the support line. And if it does break below that support line, we'll be really heavily paying attention to that 23.11, 23.15-ish range to see if it'll come down to it, or if it'll actually even break it and break down further to the next support of about $20.30. So I'll definitely be paying heavily to Litecoin today, because I do want to take a position in Litecoin, considering it's really been making some nice moves. Going from, it looks like about $24 to $29. I mean, that's almost $30. So I mean, that's a $6 profit, and those are the type of profits I'm looking for. So I wish I was at my computer to be able to follow this, but majority of the time I got a lot of things going on where I'm not in front of my computer to be able to follow this trend. Let me get to some of these comments. I do apologize if I missed any. I mean, I can take a look at Dash, Mark. And by the way, welcome to the live stream. And if you haven't done so already, please click on that subscribe button as well as the post notification so that you're notified every time the video is uploaded. But we can definitely take a look at Dash, and we can take a look at the support and resistance, and see what the trend might be telling us, where it might be going. But really, I mean, it's not a crystal ball when I draw out these support and resistance. You really have to look at also the volume that's coming in, where buyers and sellers are stacked up. So if I'm looking to get into a position and I've already plotted out the support and resistance, I'm going to be taking a look at that order book heavily, and just checking to see, is my support pretty accurate? What are the probabilities of traders supporting it at that level? And by me looking at the order book and taking a look where they're stacked up, the probabilities will probably be pretty high. If there are a lot of sellers that are stacked up, let's just say at this $23 range. If that's the case, then I know that the support that I plotted out is pretty accurate. The probabilities of it hitting that and bouncing back to the upside are very high, considering I can see where buyers and sellers and the volume coming in. So you really got to take everything into one, and not just really rely on where you drew out your support and resistance. You got to take a look at other aspects to see if that support and resistance that you plotted out are accurate. But we'll take a look at Dash later. That's not an issue at all. I think it's going to have a correction. I mean, this is really nice upward movement that we're currently having now. But if we are in a bear markets just don't last less than 2 days, and that's basically the drop that happened. That took it from 2,800 to 1,900. That really only lasted 2 days, and that was a very significant drop that we had. So I think we are going to have another correction, and that correction could be maybe half of the correction of the previous correction that we had from 2,800 to 1,900, or it could even be a more of a major correction. And this upward move could be to bait people in, to bait new traders in, unsuspected traders of what possibly could be happening if they haven't really been following the trend. But yeah, it's going to happen. It's just a matter of when. And I don't have the crystal ball to tell you when. Jonathan, welcome, buddy. Hope all's well in DC. Let's see what you're saying. You thought for sure we would see the market drop with Chinese markets allowing withdrawals. Yeah, I thought so too, but really it didn't have too much effect on it. And I think, for them to kind of curve, the withdrawal flight from, all their customers is by them offering Ethereum. Considering they're offering Ethereum, people are probably like, oh, maybe I'll stay in this. Maybe we'll get a nice crazy pump, considering, there's going to be a lot of buying that's going to be happening at those Chinese exchanges for Ethereum. But yeah, it really didn't have too much of an effect on it. Hey, Mark, not a problem, man. Anytime, buddy. But yeah, we'll definitely look at Dash. I think Dash is one of the cryptocurrencies. Really, I haven't plotted out the support and resistance. Yeah, I do look at it, but I've not plotted out some support and resistance lines. But we'll definitely take a look at that for you. Mohabbat, welcome, buddy. What about Dash? Yeah, we'll take a look at Dash. That's what Mark was asking earlier. Carl, it's not a problem, buddy. Lisa Roberts, welcome to my live stream. Welcome to CryptoTrader's Room. Hopefully you become a regular. But yeah, if you're a non-believer of cryptocurrency, I would highly consider that, to be honest with you. You can still become one of the early adopters. A lot of people are still early adopters, to be honest with you. The market's not that old. Think about what the internet was, when it first started in comparison to what it is now. And that's basically what this cryptocurrency is. It's really... it is a feature, to be honest with you. David, welcome, buddy. Russia's planning to roll out its own digital currency. I haven't heard about that yet, so I really wouldn't have any thoughts, to be honest with you. If I try to give you any thoughts on it, I'd be BSing you, and I'm not here to BS anybody, to be honest with you. But if anybody has any thoughts about, Russia planning to roll out its own digital currency, please share it with us. That would be awesome. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at Dash, considering you guys are interested in Dash. Let's see, what is Dash doing today? Down 1%, not too bad. We'll look at Poloniex, and I'm surprised it lists Poloniex as USD. Poloniex does not deal with USD. Well, yeah, nice swings. This is definitely a trader's chart. To me, this is a beautiful chart. Not for long-term investors. Long-term investors, if they look at this, they'd be like, oh, man, it dipped from 150 to 72. But let's go ahead and take a look at, let's see, we'll do a 2-hour chart. Love 5 jab, welcome. Feature of Lumen, I don't know, bud. I really don't know. All I could do is play the support and resistance. I've told you guys before, I don't really care about the technical aspect of some of these cryptocurrencies. Yeah, you know, some of the popular ones, you know, I'll read up about them. But really, I mean, I care about price action. That's really what I care about. I care about these up and down swings like we're seeing here on Dash. This is really a trader's dream to see a chart like this with nice up and down swings. But man, this is going to be tough for support and resistance. This is going to be very tough. I might have to narrow this down a little bit. I mean, I don't think this is going to get below $80, to be honest with you guys. I doubt it'll get below $80. But yeah, man, Dash is tough for support and resistance. But yeah, I'm going to have to kind of figure this out a little bit. But let's see. Let me draw out a couple lines here. I do see some sort of resistance here. And yeah, even though it broke out above it, you know, it came back down. It didn't maintain that growth. And that's why I'm picking this as a support line. And then, you know, a couple of several times that it tried breaking out and it got pulled right back, basically. Let me see if I can put circles here. I mean, right here, right here. So when I'm plotting out the support and resistance, I mean, I look at the history and see exactly what did it do at those exact points that I'm trying to plot out. You know, did it completely break out above it with a vengeance and stay above it? Or did it touch it and then kind of come right back down? And that's exactly what she did. If I can get a circle drawn out here. But yeah, CryptoWatch is acting up a little bit, so it's not allowing me to put it. Okay, there we go. So four different points that it actually, you know, broke out just a little over it, but came right back down. So that's going to be a very good indicator of having a good support line. So if she does pull, and I mean, she's going to have a couple other resistance or support lines. Let's take a look and see where the other supports might be. But yeah, I'm going to have to base it on this nice upward swing and downward swing that we've had since May 22nd. So right about here, it's going to have another resistance. So this will be support, that'll be resistance, and that's exactly what it did. So a couple different points here, couldn't break out above it. Here broke out above it and just kind of consolidated above that support line. But then it came back down. There were just not enough buyers to support it to move up to the upside. There was a good amount of consolidation that was happening, but just not enough on the buying side to get it to move up to the upside. And of course, you know, it came crashing down when everything came crashing down. But then a couple times up here currently, you know, June 1st, basically yesterday, broke out above it just a little bit, and that's right around the 140 range. And then pull back. She is having a hard time breaking above it, but if she can break above it with a vengeance, then the other resistance. So basically this is going to be a resistance here because it hasn't really broke above it, but then the next one is going to be right at the 150 range. So at the 150, she's definitely going to have a hard time. There are going to be traders that are going to be selling if they have a position in this at that 150 because that is the resistance. So they might not sell everything they have, but they're going to lock in a good amount of their position to lock in those profits. And then they'll leave a little bit more on the table in the hopes that it does get supported and moves up to the upside. But let's see if there's any other resistance that it's going to have or support somewhere in the middle here. Because this is a big difference here. I mean, this is a big gap going from 104 to about 140. I mean, we're looking at about, you know, $35 difference. So it is going to have support somewhere right around here. So that's going to be about the 120, 121 range, something to that extent, because it did attempt to break out and it got pulled back down. And then when it broke out with a vengeance. And this is kind of what I look for to see, you know, if that support line or if that resistance is going to be broken. And if it breaks it with a vengeance, like this candlestick here, then you know that support or that resistance has been completely broken, and buyers have bought it up to bring it up above that resistance line, and that's exactly what it did. It broke out above it and broke out to 145. Let's take a look at other points of support. Other area support's probably going to be right around the $90 range. So 90 bucks, we are going to have another resistance. So those are basically the trend. But as of right now, I mean, it is trending to the upside. There really isn't any major selling that's happening. But it could happen at any time. You know, if we do have a major selling with BTC, Ethereum, I mean, it's going to be a domino effect with a bunch of other popular cryptocurrencies where they are going to drive the price down. So if you're looking to getting into crypto, into Dash, you know, wait for a correction. You know, whether it's going to be a minor correction or a very healthy correction. You know, this is definitely a very major correction here from 150 down to 70. And when she did touch 70, I mean, if we really look at this closely, you know, 70 was a low here. And when, you know, had that major sell-off that just recently happened, it got to about $72.34. So pretty close to that $71 where it would have been a very good support. So then the other area of support is going to be really at that price range. But it's going to be where other consolidation has happened. So if I was to play it safe, I would really plot out my line right at the $78 range to have a very strong resistance or strong support, considering there's a lot of consolidation that happened here on the left-hand side. So right about the $78. So basically that's our support, that's our resistance. You know, if I was looking to get into this trade, you know, I got to look at really the probabilities of the support and resistance lines that I drew out. How accurate are they? Right now, I don't know how accurate they are. I can just really look at the chart where there has been, you know, significant price action, a story that is telling me of where that support and resistance might be. But as of right now, it's 50-50, or it could be really 30% correct. I have no clue, to be honest with you. So if I was looking at really getting into this position, I would be looking at, you know, the trades, the way that they're being executed, the order history, you know, where are the buyers stacked up, or where are the sellers stacked up? And, you know, by looking at the order history, I can look at to see if there are sellers, tons of sellers stacked up at 150, because then I can say, you know what, that is a strong resistance at that level because there's so many sellers that are stacked up. Or let's just say hypothetically, you know, at this 104 level, if I see on the order book that there are tons of buyers that are stacked up at that level, I know that the probability of that being a good support is very high in comparison to not knowing where those buyers and sellers are stacked up. And then, you know, look at the volume as well too. Is the volume going to support it? So that's kind of how I determine the probabilities, whether it's going to be a good trade or it's not going to be a good trade, and if my prediction is accurate. Right now, I don't know if my prediction is accurate unless I really heavily take a look at that order book and really, you know, decipher, you know, those buyers and sellers that are stacked up. But more than likely too, it could be a fake wall that's put there. So I really got to keep that in the back of my mind when I'm looking at the order book, and then trying to compare it to the resistance and support that I plotted out. To see if that's going to be a fake wall or it's a real wall. And sometimes they are a fake wall. They'll put it on there, and then once it gets close to that execution price, they'll take it right off. Let me get to some of the comments because I know I probably missed a good amount. NPR had a show last night about crypto. Oh man, I'm gonna have to research that and see if I can rewatch it. That's interesting. But yeah, thank you for sharing that, Jonathan. I appreciate it. Any centralized cryptocurrency will fail, in your opinion? Yeah, you could be right, Logan. You could be absolutely right. And welcome, by the way. Happy Friday. Let's see, Jonathan. The news on Lumen is that they are giving away so many of them soon. When you say giving them away, if you can clarify that, that'd be good. Or are you just mean that they're going to be saturating the market and releasing more coins? Unlike Ripple that locked up and all their extra ripples. Lumens is a fork from Ripple. Yes, it is a fork from Ripple. But yeah, I haven't really researched Lumens, to be honest with you. Rossman Design HD, welcome, buddy. Yeah, I do these Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 9:30 a.m. Eastern time zone or New York time zone till about 11:30. Sometimes I do go a little longer. But yeah, I'm here every Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, bud. But yeah, thanks for joining. My thought on Gollum, I mean, I have to take a look at the chart. I mean, if you're talking about the technology behind it, that's not really what I do. I kind of analyze a chart. So if you want me to analyze Gollum, I can definitely do that. But I don't think Gollum is on a good charting platform that I have for me to be able to draw out the support and resistance. From Wisconsin, the cheese state. Nice. Yeah, welcome, Matt. Thanks for joining. Click that thumbs up. Yes, sir. Yeah, if you find this helpful, please do so. Click the thumbs up. Feel free to share this with your friends and families, especially if there's anybody new that's looking to get into cryptocurrency, and they just want to learn a couple things for free. Yeah, please have them join. The more the merrier. Feel free to share this with anybody you like. Wager WGR. I have not heard of that at all, bud. How do I feel about ETC? I'm still bullish on ETC. Very bullish. And I've said it, when it was $4, $4.30 when I bought it. And I said it when it was $7 and I bought tons of it at $7. I'm still bullish on it. Yes, it did hit that 22.78, I think it was. Let's just say $22 to make the math easy. Had a really nice pullback, and it pulled back below $10, and that was a perfect opportunity for anybody that was looking to get into Ethereum or Ethereum Classic. That would have been a perfect opportunity to get in below that $10. That was just a magic number, and I was actually looking for $8. And of course, I wasn't watching it when it dipped to that below 10, but I had an order in to buy it at 8. And of course, yeah, it didn't get to that level at all. I'm still holding some. I'm holding a little bit from actually, I'm holding 125 from the 430 that I bought. And then I think I have 25 left at the $7 price point that I bought. But yeah, I'm still bullish on it. It could easily get up another 100% from where it is and break that all-time high of 22.78. Only time will tell. I think, is it going to do it anytime soon, within a couple hours or a day? Probably not. Excuse me. But I think over time, Ethereum Classic will get up to that $30 range. It'll break its all-time high. Yeah, I'm still holding that 150. I don't really have any plans in selling unless it starts hitting all-time highs and breaks above that $22. Yeah, Jonathan. I mean, always look to take profits. That's something I highly recommend. Yeah, it could go up, and a lot of trades that I got into, I took profits and it went up. But you know what? I'm happy with those profits. I'm not going to kick myself. There's nothing wrong with leaving money on the table. I just don't want to risk the profit and the capital that I've gained from it. So if I kind of stay in a trade thinking it's going to go higher, and it does go higher, more than likely I'm probably not going to sell, because then I'm going to think, oh, it can go higher again, or it can go higher again. So I always like locking in profits at different intervals to see exactly, at the support and resistance. And that's what I did with Ethereum, where I locked in the profit at 185, 200, 217, and it did exactly what I expected it to do. It hit that 185, it executed, and it had a nice pullback. It didn't pull back a lot, but it still pulled back. But yeah, I mean, we really don't know what these cryptocurrencies are going to do. I mean, they're either going to go up, or they're going to go down, or they're going to go sideways. And I enjoyed locking in those profits. I mean, if I was a long-term holder and I was still holding, my Ethereum Classic, or even holding, a couple hundred Ethereums that I bought, when it was dirt cheap, yeah, I probably wouldn't be looking at this chart. I wouldn't look at candlesticks. I'd be looking at a regular mountain chart. Probably once a week or once every 2 weeks, I would look at it. But yeah, you got to be happy with the profits you have, and you got to lock them in and be happy with it, even though it does go up. You can't kick yourself over it. You just got to lock them in. But don't sell everything. Just sell in increments, whatever you're comfortable selling, whether it's 15%, 20% of your position. Where do I think Ripple will trend? You know, it could definitely get up to that 42 cent. Its all-time high. It can definitely do it. I mean, it just went up 100% from under 15 cents to 32 cents. So she could definitely do it, and that's why I think Ripple can definitely overtake Bitcoin in market cap, and only in market cap, guys. I mean, it's not going to take, you know, Bitcoin and transfer of value or store of value. It's not. I don't think it will. But in the sense of market cap, I think she can easily overtake Bitcoin. But it's not going to happen tomorrow. You know, it'll take a little while for it to happen. But you know, if Bitcoin is moving up to the upside like crazy, then yeah, it's going to have a hard time catching up. But if Bitcoin stays somewhat stagnant and really doesn't get above that $3,000 range and just hovers above it as Ripple is moving up to the upside, Ripple could easily catch up to it. Yeah, I wish I would have caught Ripple at that 15, you know, but my order was 11 and a half, 11.8. But yeah, it definitely had a nice run. You know, 100% run. Same thing with Ethereum, 100% run. Now imagine if Bitcoin would have done that, had a 100% run from that 1900. Would be at 3,800 bucks. Yeah, wait for a correction. And I've been paying attention to Ripple. I always have it up on the chart. But yeah, I think, you know, if she gets to that 18-cent range, I will definitely take a position. I'll cancel that 11 cents that I have and take a position at that 18. Because I mean, she could easily get up to that 30 cents again, and that's, you know, 12 cents gain per coin. But we'll see what she does. I would love for it to pull back before really making that run up to the 42 cents. And she can. She can. Yeah, Jonathan, I'll find it. You know, I'll know where to find it. But thank you I appreciate you wanting to share the link. That's interesting, Jonathan. Yeah, I didn't know that. Lumen's giveaway plan is on their website, and they are giving it to BTC owners. You have to claim them. Interesting. Yeah, I'll have to research that. Jonathan, thank you so much for joining, bud. Enjoy your Friday. Enjoy your weekend as well. Mark, not a problem, man. I didn't think you were being rude at all. I didn't sense anything of you being rude. But yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate it. Not a problem. You mining Ethereum Classic? Nice. Yeah, I like Ethereum Classic. I really do. And I think, you know, if she could dip a little further, I would definitely take a much of a larger position than I had before. All in all, I had, you know, a little over 1,500 in Ethereum Classic. Bob, that's a very good question. Bob's asking, you know, say that I make 15% on Ethereum. Do I buy BTC or convert it to fiat with the profits? You know, I've talked about it in the past. I like going to fiat, to be honest with you, because I just don't know what BTC is going to do. Now, let's just say, you know, I get out of Ethereum and I go into BTC and BTC is going up. That's great. You know, I just made profit both ways. I made profit of Ethereum, and now I got into BTC and BTC is going up, and that's more of a profit. That is great. But the possibility of that happening, which, I mean, we really don't know. You know, it could easily dip. And if it dips, then you're actually giving back the 15% profit that you made on Ethereum. So, you know, and this is just my personal opinion. I like going to fiat. I really do. Now, if I was going to sit there and monitor that trade and go from Ethereum to BTC and looking to just make a little bit of profit of BTC and get out, yes, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. But more than likely, you know, when I buy Ethereum and then I sell, you know, I'm in fiat because I don't really plan on getting into anything else. Normally, I'm going to go to bed with fiat in my account. I'm going to wake up the next morning and look at it and possibly try to get a better entry. But, you know, if you go from Ethereum right to BTC, I mean, how do you know if you're getting a good entry unless BTC has already bottomed out? Cool video. Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate it. You know, I hope everybody has a great year. I mean, I want to see everybody make money. I don't want to see anybody lose money at all. You know, whether you're, you know, being scammed or being tricked into getting a trade, you know, you really got to do what's best for you. And I never want to see anybody lose any money at all. I always ask people to share your success stories. I mean, you don't have to share if you've taken a big hit on a trade. You know, if you don't feel comfortable sharing that, you don't have to share it at all. I mean, you guys know the gains and the losses that I've taken. I mean, there's definitely transparency where you guys can see my trades. You guys can see how much money I have in my account. You know, if you start watching my earlier videos when I started these live streams, you'll see exactly what I started out with in that account, and I never added anything to it. But I definitely want to see everybody make money. That's kind of my goal. But yeah, I hope everybody has a great year. I really do. And I think this is the year for us to really capitalize, or the time for us to really capitalize off these crazy moves that are happening. But I think I got to all the comments. If I missed any comments, I do apologize. Just type it out again, and I will definitely respond to it. But yeah, 32 people, that's awesome. And if, like I said, if you find this helpful, please click on that thumbs up, subscribe to our YouTube channel, click on that post notification so you're notified every time a video is uploaded. But also stay connected with us. Sign up for our mailing list, because that's really the best thing to do. And as long as you sign up for our mailing list, we will send you information on getting onto our free general Slack chat room. It's just a free general chat room to kind of continue this conversation after this live stream ends. We do have a good amount of people that have joined that free general chat room. And you're able to sit there and converse 24/7 if you wanted to. So that chat room never closes. There's always somebody there. I mean, you know, we got people from all over the world, different time zones. So that's something I highly recommend if you wanted to keep the conversation about cryptocurrency going. Sign up for our mailing list, get put on our free Slack chat, general chat, and then you will have the ability to upgrade that later on. And we'll be sending out information on how you can upgrade it to the actual traders chat room. And that is going to be a paid membership. But also connect with us on Steam, Twitter, Facebook, and share this. Share this with anybody that is interested in getting into cryptocurrency and want to learn, you know, some of the tricks, the ins and outs of trading. I'd be happy to answer any of their questions. Mark, really, it's a very good question. And Mark's asking, and I know you guys can see the comments, but a lot of people that are going to be probably watching this after the video is uploaded to YouTube are probably not going to be able to read the comment. But Mark's asking, you know, seeing as how this is a once in a lifetime phenomenon for guys short on cash, is it a better idea to day trade altcoins or to buy as much Ethereum or BTC as you can and hang on to it? You know, for somebody that just has a little bit of cash, you know, I don't really recommend trading, to be honest with you. I mean, you know, from $100, you know, how much do you really expect to make? You're going to make a little fraction amount, and it's going to spend a lot of your time analyzing and reading the charts. You know, your return on investment is not going to be that big because your profit's not going to be that big. So you're going to spend a good amount of time staring at the charts and analyzing. Like, I love doing it. So, you know, to me, it's not a big thing at all. But if your main motive is to make money, and my main motive is not to really make money, it's, you know, this is something that I'm passionate about. I love doing this. So if I don't make any money, you know, I'm not going to kill myself over it. I'm not going to kick myself over it. But, you know, if you're going to be trading this with a very little amount, don't expect to make a lot of money. So don't look at the dollar amount that you're making off that trade, because that'll be very discouraging, because you're starting out with very low capital. Look at the percentage gains on that trade. So the percentage gain is going to be a lot higher, and that's going to be a bigger motivator when you're actually placing trades, looking at the percentage that you've gained. You know, let's just say you put in $100 and you make 15 bucks out of that 100. You might look at it and be like, 15 bucks, that's nothing, but that's 15%. So if you look at it in the sense of percentage, it's a lot better. But, you know, what I would recommend, you know, to anybody that's just, you know, has $100 is, you know, do a little bit of research on some of these coins and invest in some of the popular coins that don't have the crazy volatility of it being pumped. You know, a lot of these little coins, they're pump and dumps, basically. They'll pump it and then they'll dump it. No sense of you holding long term on those coins. But, you know, look at maybe the top 10 in market cap and look at the chart and see exactly how it fluctuates. You know, I like Ethereum. I think Ethereum is undervalued. Oh, and I'm sorry, Ethereum Classic. I think Ethereum Classic is undervalued. But I also like Ripple. I think Ripple at 32 cents or 27 cents is completely undervalued now. Or it should be at $1, be close to $1, considering banks are really backing Ripple. So, you know, if I was to hold long term, and this is only my personal opinion, guys. Please do not place a trade based on what my speculation is. But I wouldn't mind holding a shitload of Ripple coins because it is going to be pumped. It's going to get up there. Banks are going to move this thing. And when that time happens, it's really going to move up. I mean, it could easily go up 150%, from currently where it is. And if it does that, I mean, we're looking at, what are we looking at? 75 cents, something to that extent. Omar, welcome, buddy. Murray, welcome. Omar, man, that's awesome. Dude, I appreciate that. And Omar comments is basically, he just found us on Steemit and upvoted and shared this video on Twitter. And he's asking, can he share this live stream now? Dude, yes, please do so. Omar, you're awesome, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, all of you guys are free to share this video. The one thing I ask is that you don't upload this video to your channel and monetize it. That's the only thing I don't ask. And it's happened in the past before. Somebody was taking my videos, putting them on their YouTube channel and monetizing, my videos. That's the only thing I ask you don't do. But yeah, if you want to basically share this, on Facebook, on Twitter, whatever it might be, please do so. I think, the more people that are going to share this YouTube channel, the more that will actually come and join this and gain some sort of knowledge. And I've always said, knowledge is power. And when we have that knowledge, we're going to empower ourselves to a better future. So the more people that we have that want to basically learn ins and outs of trading, I mean, that's great. It is great. So please do so. I'm glad I gave you hope, man, because, and the thing, Omar, is you just got to take it day by day, little by little. Trading can be very stressful. It really can. I'm not going to be I'm not going to BS you and tell you that, trading is easy. It's not easy at all, man. It can be the most stressful thing you will ever do. But the opportunities are there to make money as long as you stick to your rules and you're consistent with your rules and try not to break them. And we're all human beings. We will all break our rules. I've broken my rules many times before, but when I break them, I lose money. When I don't break my rules, I make money. So, you can do very well, Omar, as long as you stick to, very simple rules that you've set for yourself. Murray, it's not a problem, man. I'm glad that you appreciate the time that I take to make these videos, and thank you for indicating that these are great content. And you're in Sydney, Australia. Yeah, Mel, he's not on here, but he's from Australia as well too. I don't know if he's from Sydney, but yeah, I know it's late for you guys, or 12 a.m. But I do appreciate you joining, man. That's awesome. Bitcoin is a hold long term. Yes, I agree. I mean, especially if you get in at a good price, it really is. You just have to be able to withstand the volatility, the up and down swings. And I think a lot of people might not have been able to withstand it when it went from 2,800 to 1,900. Hopefully they didn't panic and sell, because really it came back up to 2,400 bucks that it's at today. Yeah, 2,400 bucks. So it's only $400 off its high. Yeah, I'm waiting for Ripple. I am currently looking at Ripple right now, and that's a chart that I'm sharing with you guys, so hopefully you're able to see it. I am waiting for Ripple to kind of, have a nice pullback. Yes, it's pulling back, but it hasn't pulled back enough for me to kind of take a position in it. I want to see this thing kind of break the 20-cent level. Once it breaks the 20 cents and breaks underneath it, that's when it's going to really become interesting for me. And then really that 18 cents is in sight. So if it breaks 20, I would be really looking at taking a position at 18 cents. I don't think she's going to get back down to that 11 cents, to be honest with you. But I can see, based on where the support might be. And that's just basically, on the candlesticks. I haven't looked at the order book to see if my, resistance that I plot out or the support that I plot out are pretty accurate. But that 18 cents looks very good to me. Don't chase things. Wait for them to come back to you. Wait for a nice healthy pullback. It's only pulled back from 32 cents to 27 cents. So it's only really pulled back 5 cents. Because it is going to have that resistance. And the reason why there is a resistance at that 32 is, if we look at May 26, it looks like the high was 32, a little over 32 cents. And that's exactly what she did up here. She came up to 32 cents and pulled right back down. And that indicates to you, yeah, that is a resistance. So for me to get in at this price point now, my risk reward might not be that, my reward might not be that good compared to my risk, because really the risk is that it could come down to 20 cents, below 20, But my reward is really only going to be 32 cents because I can see that that is where the resistance is. So I'll only be making possibly 5 cents. But on the downside, it could actually drop 7 cents. So the reward is not there in comparison to the risk yet, unless it pulls back down further. Abdullah, welcome, buddy. I don't know if you're still out in Cali. DGB. I don't know, man. I haven't really looked at it. I've seen it had a crazy move, but I haven't really analyzed it. Yes, you're absolutely right. It does have a 38 billion supply, but a lot better than that 100 billion supply. So one thing I would definitely be leery about Ripple is when they release those coins that they locked up, because then they're going to flood the market with more coins, or really possibly try to increase that market cap, and that's just going to cause a lot of selling. The supply is going to outweigh the demand at that point. But I think right now with 38 billion, there's going to come a time when the demand will outweigh the supply until they actually flood the market with new coins, and that's when I would be very careful. So I would be really paying attention to the news about when they're going to start releasing these coins back into the market, and at what rate are they going to release them. I don't think they're going to release all of them at once, maybe in increments of 5 billion. But that would be a time for me to kind of get out, is when they probably a day or two before they start releasing the coins, unless speculators already speculated that it's going to crash and they already caused it to crash before they actually release the coins. But yeah, even though 38 billion is a lot, it's still a lot less than that 100 billion that they had in the past. But Logan's absolutely correct. I mean, you should always be careful. What are my rules for trading? I'll make a separate video about some of the rules that I do follow for trading. And actually, I did do a video a long time ago, and it's titled "How to Be an Efficient Trader." It's probably maybe the 10th video that I did. So I highly recommend you guys watch it, because I do lay out some of my rules. Now, every trader is going to have different rules, but those are some of the rules that I kind of lay out. So I highly recommend you guys watch that. And if I get a chance, what I'll do is I'll put a link up on the top right-hand corner of this video, right about this timestamp here. So I'll go ahead and do that once this video uploads to YouTube. I'll put up that little link to that actual video. But yeah, there's some helpful information on there about just some of the rules that I follow. But to be honest with you guys, I'm only human. I do break those rules, but I do my best to try to stick to them. But, they do get broken occasionally here and there. And, it kind of teaches me a lesson. It's like, all right, you know what? I kind of veered off my rule. I broke it. And I'm paying the price now because I took a hit. But I highly recommend watching that video if you have time. But I mean, I can go hours and hours talking about what some of my rules are. Scicoin is going to blow up next month. I hope it does for anybody that's holding. I definitely want to see people make money. I don't want to see any of these cryptocurrencies go down, especially if you have a position in it. DGB is on a yogi run. Above 1,000 Satoshis. You bought it at 50. That's great. That's a great entry. 50 Satoshis and for it to be 1,000. Wow. You definitely have strong hands, man, to hold it for that long, because anything could happen. Are they locking more coins up? I didn't know. I thought that was it, that they were locking up. But yeah, if they lock up more coins, of course that's going to reduce the market cap. But the supply is not going to be there if they lock up more, and the demand is going to be there. It'll definitely get it to go up. Logan, thank you so much, man. I appreciate for telling me that. Yes, I wasn't on mute. But let's see, Abdullah saying that he bought DGB in an old phone and put it in an old phone wallet and forgot about it till today. Dude, that's great. It's like almost like finding money, like a $50 bill in your pants that you washed a couple days ago. DOH, I don't know if I missed a comment previously. Am I, in your honest opinion, question mark? In my coherent opinion, question mark? Yeah, if you want to clarify that. Ripple Bankers Con coin. Logan, that might be a t-shirt idea, man. I like that. I like that saying. Ripple Bankers Con coin. Yeah, but I don't think it's just Ripple that's a scam. I mean, there's a lot of other coins out there that's a scam. I would just be careful investing long term and investing a lot of money in some of these coins because a lot of them are just kind of set up for a pump and dump, and that's basically it. Mark, man, I'm glad you found us too, bud. Thank you so much. Have a great day at work, man. Hopefully it's nice where you are, and before you know it, the shift will be done. You'll be at home or doing whatever it is that you do. But yeah, we've all had those crappy jobs, to be honest with you, and you just got to make the best of it. You really do. I worked for corporate America for years, and I felt like a slave, to be honest with you, until I finally decided to do what it was that I love to do. Found that had the passion. I love what I do now. I mean, I could do this 24/7, but having 3 kids and crazy things going on outside of crypto, it kind of prevents me from doing this 24/7. XPM is being pumped right now, or Ripple is being pumped right now. XPM, I don't know what XPM is. Yeah, I mean, I would just be leery with any of the coins, Abdullah, to be honest with you. Just be very leery. Be happy with your profits. I mean, you've done great with Ripple. You really have. I think, a while back you told me, the amount of Ripple that you bought at a very cheap price. And, I was hoping it went up to $1 for you. I guess that's how you're able to afford that Tesla Model S. Yeah. If you get your Tesla Model S, man, we'll have to meet up somewhere. But let's see, what else is going on? Let's see. Let me kind of get back to. Let me get back to Litecoin. All right, so Litecoin. Let's see. It did break through this. It did break through the support, but it hasn't broken through it with a vengeance. But let's go ahead and take a look and really analyze it in the sense of looking at the order book. I would love to get an entry on Litecoin and today. And really that entry I'm looking for is going to be somewhere in the range of 24 bucks. If it gets to that price point. Let's see where our sellers are stacked up. I mean, not too bad on the sell side. 855, 400, 300. There we go. Buyers are definitely stacking up, though. Now, it could be a fake wall, though, especially with this, 1,081 at 26.39. So we'll have to see once it gets close to that execution price to see if it does fall off. If it falls off, it's a fake wall. You know, somebody was just trying to get the price to go up to their sale price. That's all that they were looking to do. So yeah, I mean, 985. That's something to keep an eye on. 1,081 is something to keep an eye on. Have I ever traded on open ledger? No, I've not, Omar. XPM it's being pumped by a silly pump group on Poloniex. Yeah, I believe it, man. A lot of pump and dumps happen on Poloniex. It really does. Hey, at least Abdullah, at least you put that order in, man. And I hope it was from profits of crypto. And if it is, please let us know, man, because that's awesome. But yeah, 50 cents off that execution price on that 1,081. So we're going to have to really keep an eye on that person to see if they actually take that off. But I'm going to get ready to put an order in and see if we can get something executed. And I'm really paying attention to see if it breaks below 25.87. And if she breaks below that, that's going to be a good indicator that she could actually fall just a little further to possibly my execution price. Yeah, 24 for me would be a safe entry. I mean, 23 would be great, but I don't know if she's going to touch 23. If she does decide to come down from the current level that she's at, I think at 24, you know, I have a better chance of having that executed instead of trying to put an order in for 23.15-ish. Sometimes it's hard to really get that bottom of that support, but that support of 23, I'm definitely going to have to pay attention to on the order book, as well as possibly 24. But of course, with GDAX, they only allow me to see the top 50 buyers and the top 50 sellers, so it doesn't really allow me to see too much. Where Bitfinex, I can look at the whole book. Yeah, I doubt she's going to get to my $24 price range. Not much volume, though, to support a nice upward move. The volume is not there currently. OHNRI, and welcome, buddy. Hope you're doing well. But let me know if there is a cryptocurrency that you guys want me to take a look at, especially if I have access to it on a good charting system. $0.19. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I said, you know, if she comes down below 20, 18 cents is what I'm looking at. But yeah, 20 cents isn't bad either. And welcome, by the way, Tony. Thank you for joining. But yeah, if she breaks below 20, great opportunity to look for an entry. I'm not saying getting at 20 cents, but look for an entry. You know, because she could dip to that 18, 17, 15 cents would be great. That would be a great entry. Because we know she has the ability to get up to that 32 cents, which is a good resistance. You know, so really, if you get in at 15 cents, you know, your downside is really 2 cents, maybe. You know, not even that, because the low that it hit was a little over 11 cents. But the reward is gonna outweigh the risk, because we know that she has the ability to get up to that 32 cents. and then possibly pull back, because that'll be the third time. If she does get up to 32 cents, that'll be the third time attempting to break out above the 32 cents. And I can see it having just a little minor hiccup, minor issue, depending on where the buyers and sellers are stacked up. So it's either going to break out with a vengeance above the 32 cents, or she's going to touch it and completely break back down, to 25. But things aren't moving too fast today, guys. Everything is just kind of stagnant, to be honest with you. We're not really getting some violent dips or some really nice upticks. So Friday's kind of a boring day. But China's not awake either, so they can definitely move the market if they want to. There are a lot of people that use Coinigy, and they got a lot of great things to say about it. And I think it's a great charting system, and I think they use TradingView, to be honest with you. Let me know, guys, if I'm wrong. I know ECS, you use Coinigy. Logan, you use Coinigy. Do they use, I think they might use TradingView platform for their charting system. But yeah, I've looked at Coinigy, but I've never used Coinigy. I do like Bitfinex. I do like their charting system on Bitfinex. I really do. Because I use TradingView, and I think TradingView is one of the best ones out there. Yeah, Logan knows a way around the system. Just keep setting up new email address every 30 days. Got to work that system. I think by the time you're done, you're gonna probably have like 1,000 email addresses, Logan. But yeah, but if you guys are looking for a really good charting system, I would definitely look at TradingView. I do like TradingView a lot better than CryptoWatch. CryptoWatch is still good, but I'm not able to customize it as much as I want in comparison to TradingView. I think TradingView has just got a better customization than CryptoWatch does. But if CryptoWatch really steps up their game and really add a lot of good functions to it, I think they can be something great. They really can. I mean, right now, really, by looking at the support and resistance on, let's just say, Ethereum, if somebody was just to look at this, they wouldn't know exactly what it is that they're looking at. As in, with TradingView or even Bitfinex, because I use TradingView, I'm able to color coordinate the support. I'm able to color coordinate the resistance, so that when I'm actually looking at it from a distance, okay, you know what? I'll make the main support, green, and then the main resistance red, and then you can color code it really to anything you want to color code it. And you can actually have like a paintbrush where you can draw things out on it. So I do like TradingView, and it's free. You don't have to pay for it. But yeah, do what Logan does. Just set up a couple different email addresses, and every 30 days, just keep switching it up. But Ethereum, though, seems to be holding very nicely at the prior resistance that I drew out. And these are the same resistance from the other day, so nothing has been changed. But Monday, I will be getting rid of these resistance and then drawing out new ones, depending on the chart pattern. But it's still holding that 217 that I plotted out pretty well, and that's really, I got out at 217. That was my exit. But it's trending above that 217, which is very bullish, as it's consolidating sideways. So not too far from its all-time high of 238.97. So it's holding up pretty well. It really is. And here we go. People really didn't want this to get down below, or to really break the support of 27 bucks. It broke down a little bit, but this move here, though, it's only on volume of 5,631. It is a 30-minute candlestick, so we'll see exactly where it ends up closing. But that's very few volume for it to have this much of an increase, basically going from low of 26.56 to a high of 27.43. Almost 90 cents for very low volume. So somebody was buying at a higher price to get to get this candlestick to go up. Dude, thank you for sharing that. I appreciate it. OHNRI, that's a great comment, dude. Thank you so much. And I didn't know that. And I don't think a lot of people knew that. So if anybody's watching this video after the fact, basically he's indicating that, even when China wakes up, things might be somewhat stale. Apparently multiple miner farms in Saichen, I think I pronounced that correct, I'm probably not, have shut down and are in the process of relocating during the wet season. And if that's the case, yeah, volume could be a little low. Wet season equals cheaper hydropower, indeed. But yeah, I don't know if I'll be finding an entry today. It doesn't look like it. I mean, I would really like to see this thing kind of break down and get down to that 24-cent range. Because then, really my risk is going to be $1, but possibly my profit is going to be at this support line here or at this resistance of possibly 27. So if I get in at 24, risk $1, but possibly make $3. But I'm going to mute this for about 3 minutes, guys. But I will be right back. Sorry about that, guys. But I did receive a message on one of my videos, and I don't know if you guys heard about this. But Luca, if you're on this live stream, thank you for sharing. And he's asking, I haven't heard about this yet. He's asking about there was an attack on an exchange. Exchange was called Quadriga. I've never heard of Quadriga. CX exchange, allegedly losing 60,000 Ethereum due to a smart contract problem. And he's asking me what I think on the price action. I mean, I think, you know, if there's any type of a hack that's happening on an exchange, yeah, that's definitely going to cause some sort of a dip. But I have not seen that news circulate at all. And I don't know if you guys have heard that news circulating about a hack on an exchange and then losing 60,000 Ethereums. It doesn't seem like it had much of an adverse effect on the price, to be honest with you. But you got to remember, too, there could be a lot of fake news out there. So you got to really look at the source of where that news is coming from. Is it coming from a reputable website? Or is it coming from a website that's known to kind of put out fake news to cause some sort of panic? And a lot of websites will do that. You know, they want to cause some sort of panic to happen. Henri, thank you for telling me that. I appreciate it. I will try to remember that for next time. So Coinigy does use TradingView. There you go. So you could actually just go to tradingview.com and use their trading platform. Or if you use Bitfinex, that's exactly what they use, TradingView. I think, you know, the nice thing about Coinigy is that they allow you to log in to, you know, tons of exchanges and be able to trade right from their platform. But, you know, do I really trust a middleman or a middle company to handle the security of my user ID and password for some of these exchanges? My honest opinion, no, I don't trust them at all. I would rather just use them for charting and then, you know, actually log into the actual exchange to be able to place my trades. Yeah, and I don't use CryptoWatch for their orders because it's the same thing as Coinigy. You know, I have to log in using their website. I mean, they're a middleman basically, and I don't trust the middleman. I would rather trust the actual exchange. Yeah, we'll see what F does this weekend. I hope we do get a nice push to the upside. T-Dog or TDG, welcome, buddy. Thank you for joining. And if you guys have any questions, please let me know. I'd be happy to answer them for you. But I'm just kind of looking at this chart, and it doesn't look like I'll be getting an entry today on Litecoin. I mean, I'll put in a low ball offer when I kind of walk away from my computer to take care of a couple things. But it doesn't look like it's going to be getting to my 24 bucks that I'm looking for. Let's take a look at BTC and see what BTC is doing. And I think I got rid of all the trend lines that I had, but let's go ahead and draw out some new trend lines, some support and resistance. So we'll see if she actually maintains the prior resistance to become a new support. And it basically has done that, where we do see a resistance. Let's see if I can draw a circle at that point, as well as this point here. So we'll actually see if she basically makes the prior resistance a new support line and not really break down below that support line. But if she does break that support line, and currently that support line is right at 2360-ish, 2356, 2355, give or take. If she does break that, possibly going to be looking at right around the 2275. And 2275 is going to be pretty good because that was basically the high that it made before pulling down a little bit and then taking that crazy rip to the 2800. So you always want to look at the prior high, to kind of plot out a good support line. And the prior high was right up here. That happened to be right at before it really came down and broke down before making that big run. And that high was about a little under 2,300 bucks. So we'll see what she does. If she does break this this first support line of 23.55, 23.60s, then the next support is going to be right around the 23.80, 23.75. If she breaks that, then we're basically going to be looking at right at the 21.75, 21.80ish range, somewhere to that in that extent. And if she breaks that and comes free falling, possibly the 2100. I mean, I would love for BTC to come down back to that 1900 level, and I would definitely buy more. But if she does break that 2100, then really we're going to be looking at 2000. 2000 would be, I think, a great entry. All right, so those are basically our support lines. Resistance, of course. First resistance is going to be the high that it made right up out here, which is a little under 2,500. Possibly looks like 24, let's see, 24.90, 24.95, somewhere to that extent. But really for this to have a nice move to the upside and possibly get above that all-time high of 2,800, she's got to break out above the 25, and she's got to break out above it with a vengeance. And if she does, she will have a little bit of a pullback in the 26.50 range. Possibly the 26.25 range. And if she breaks the 26.25, then that 2,800 is definitely in sight. So those are basically our support, our resistance. But it's trending nicely from a slow that it made. It is trending to the upside, and as long as it's trending to the upside and stays above the trend line, we're still in good position, especially if you guys are still in BTC. But yeah, she's got to stay above that trend line to have a nice upward move. But yeah, she just got to stay above these resistance lines and or support lines. And if she does start breaking those support lines, she just can't really break them with a vengeance. And if that's the case, then she's going to start really breaking every support line that I've drawn out to get to that 2,000. So I think, before I go to bed, I will probably put a 2,000 buy order in. Because really, I mean, we know that, BTC can easily, drop 300, 400 and get right back up, 300, 400 again. So, it's a possibility. It's a lowball offer, and I would rather put in a lowball offer than putting in somewhat of a modest offer and having it execute and still having it drop further. So the 2,000 is something I will be putting in before I go to bed. So I'll probably spread out the funds a little bit between BTC and Ethereum. Actually, I'm sorry, not Ethereum, Litecoin, to try to get a 23.50 entry on Litecoin, and then to try to get a 2,000 entry on BTC before I go to bed. And I'm hoping you guys can hear me loud and clear. Okay, I'm not on mute. That's good. But yeah, let me know if you guys heard about that exchange being hacked and 60,000 Ethereums being stolen. I haven't heard of it yet. And normally I get alerts on my phone of any crazy breaking news that's happening, and that was not definitely a breaking news for it to happen. So Luca, I don't know if you're on this live stream, but if you are, please let us know where you heard that from. But I mean, this is just impressive on BTC, the move that it has made. I mean, basically May 13th, we were at 1,600. For it to really gain $1,200, it's huge. Let's just see what it was at the beginning of May, on May 1st. So May 1st, low of 14.11. So I mean, you know, basically in a month, gained 100%. I mean, who knew that BTC would actually gain 100% in basically less than a month? Crazy, crazy move. And I'm sure it's going to do it again. But if it does that again and gains 100% within a month, we got to expect a pullback. And the pullback could be actually a lot more significant than the pullback we had from 2,800 down to 1,900. But I'm not seeing any crazy out of the ordinary patterns with BTC. I mean, I don't really see a head and shoulder fake. You know, maybe up here we did, but it didn't really have that much of an effect on it. And it's not really a very symmetrical head and shoulder fake. And you got to remember too, you know, these head and shoulder fakes or even inverted head and shoulder or even a cup and handle. You know, it's not 100%. It's not a crystal ball to indicate, okay, you know what, it's going to downtrend because there is a head and shoulder fake. You got to look at other things to see if that probability is pretty high. But yeah, I'm curious to see, you know, that news that came out about Ethereum being hacked, or actually the exchange being hacked, not Ethereum. I'm sorry. But yeah, depending on when that news came out, I mean, if that news came out, you know, right around here, close to its high, yeah, it brought it down a little bit, but nothing much. I think for it to come down from that 238 bucks to 190 or 206, that was definitely because of that fake news that came out saying, you know, the Dow hack, basically, the news that came out in January 17th of 2016, that news article that came out, that's basically what caused this nice little dip for people that really didn't read the article and really didn't know what was going on with it. People that have been in cryptocurrency for a long time, I mean, you know, they knew about it. So, you know, when they probably read that news article, they were like, no, I read about this a year ago. What are they talking about? And it didn't cause really any type of price drop to happen significantly. A lot of people knew that it was fake news. So the exchange wasn't hacked? Okay, so I don't know what that person was talking about then. Matt, that's a very good question, man. Where do I find my news? You know, I will honestly recommend, you know, Crypto, aka Omar. He's very knowledgeable. He's got some great things to say. You know, he keeps it kind of, you know, kind of basic for the people that don't really understand cryptocurrency to kind of understand it. But he does put out some great news, to be honest with you. I have a hard time really, you know, I'll take any news outlet, you know, CoinDesk, whatever it might be. I'll just take it with a grain of salt, whatever information I'm reading, you know, from them. But I do believe a lot of things that Crypto, aka Omar, says are very accurate. And he does his research, man. I mean, the way he lays out the news and commentaries, it's hands down one of the best. So if you don't follow him already, I highly recommend you follow him. I don't think he watches my channel, but if he is, Omar, man, I got a lot of respect for you. You put out some great stuff. Definitely keep it going. But yeah, but there is a lot of good guys out there, you know, that do news and commentaries on Bitcoin. But you know, in my opinion, I think Omar is definitely one of the best. I mean, I started following Omar when he had, I think it was like 3,000 subscribers. I mean, now he's way over 20,000. I haven't looked at it recently, but I think he might be, you know, pushing close to that 25,000 subscribers. So he definitely puts out some great information. But yeah, I would be very careful about some of these news outlets, you know, and what information they're pumping out. Yeah, anything you read, just definitely take it with a grain of salt. You know, definitely, you know, take the news in and kind of form your own opinion and not really take somebody's opinion on the news and expect it to be true. So let's see if Litecoin's going to push down to 24 bucks. I would love for this thing to come down just a little bit. Yeah, 2350 is definitely a good support, but I think I have a better chance if she starts dipping to get an entry at 24. Let's see what the order book looks like. So a good amount of sellers in the 2751, 2750. Got about a little under 1400 that's looking to be sold. Let's see what happens with this buyer at 27 bucks, considering the price is close to 2704. That's definitely a real wall. It's not a fake wall because it's so close to the execution price. But this 2660, I would be a little leery about to see if that's going to be a real wall or a fake wall because it's so far away from the execution price. So this person could actually be looking to just kind of get people to hop in over top of his entry to get the price to move up, because that person might be looking to unload some of the cryptocurrencies that they have. And we've seen that in the past where they'll put up a fake wall just to get the price to go up. And then once it hits their execution price on the sell side, they'll actually take off the buy order. So we'll have to see, 2660, if it does get to that level, to see if that 1069 Ethereum or 1069 Litecoins kind of falls off. And if it falls off all at once, or a majority of it falls at once, we know that's basically one buyer that's basically putting that order in the book. But there are people trying to hop in over top of that 2660. All right, so we definitely got bots that are in play because those are very large orders of 215. There were about 3 of them, 215 Litecoins, but that came on and fell off right away. And, as a trader, if I wasn't really keeping an eye on these type of orders, I would think, oh, man, there are people that are stacking up above that 2660. Let me get in before they get in. And it happens to be a completely fake wall, and the price just completely collapses. But yeah, there are definitely traders that are trying to pile up, but they're going on and going right off. So 460 just went on and it came right off. So somebody's trying to manipulate this to go to the upside. But let's see if traders kind of fall for it. If they fall for it, yeah, it'll move up to the upside. If they don't fall for it, it'll come crashing. And when I say crashing, I don't mean, a bad crash. It'll correct nicely. But yeah, so if you guys are looking for trades, I mean, I always say, let it come to you, wait for a nice correction to happen. I would hope that nobody, especially if you're day trading, that you wouldn't have chased this and got in at 29, 29.87, looks like 29.99, because it did correct. It had a nice correction. And, this is the type of correction that I would be looking to get an entry in, because it did really bring it down to that 25.87 from 29.87. I mean, so, a drop of $4 basically. And that's a nice correction, and that's when I would be looking to get an entry in. Because if I really would have gotten an entry at 26, it got up to almost 29 bucks. That's a little less than $3 in profit there. So always, if you're looking to get in, just wait for a nice correction to happen, especially if it's just continuously getting up to the upside. It's going to have a correction, and so the best thing to do is kind of let it come to you instead of you chasing it, and then it corrects. Oh, Nate, thank you so much for sharing that, man. I appreciate it. So there was no hack. All right. So I don't know what that person was talking about or where they might have read the news. I wish they would have provided a link or at least told me where that news article was. Matt, not a problem, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate you joining. And if you guys haven't done so already, please sign up for our mailing list because we will give you access to our free general chat room. Now, remember, it's just a general chat room. It is available to anybody that wants to sign up. It's a great place for you guys to hang out and kind of have that, cryptocurrency conversation, to give you guys a community, a place to hang out 24/7 if you want. So I highly recommend signing up for our mailing list and getting that free access to our general chat room. And then later on, you definitely will have the ability to upgrade that to our actual traders chat room. And I do try to spend some time on that general chat room, and I will spend a little bit of time on there today. Let's see what time I can get back on. From 1 p.m. Eastern time zone to about 1:45, 2 o'clock p.m. Eastern time zone, I will definitely be on that general chat room. So if you're already on that general chat room, definitely join me at 1 p.m. Eastern time zone to keep this conversation going. Oni, have a great day, bud. Thank you so much for joining, and peace and love to you as well. Yeah, that's interesting. Oni, I never even really thought about that. With the miners basically being taken offline, there are going to be fewer miners, and the fee could increase. I never really thought about that, but thank you so much for sharing that with us. Look up. I don't know if you're on this live stream, but if you are, man, let me know that you're on this live stream. And thank you so much for the message that you left in one of the videos. And basically, he's stating, he's thanking me for the videos, and he's saying, yeah, it's complicated, but he doesn't think it's overvalued yet. And of course, we all know that cryptocurrency is the next technology, and a few will win, but there are going to be a few that will definitely lose and go under. But look up, you have one, from last week's contest. You have one room in our traders chat room. So definitely, fill out that, sign up for our mailing list, and just indicate on the comment section that you were the winner of the contest from last week, and then put your name on there so that we know it's you. But the contest for this week is ending. Will basically end on Monday. I don't think I'll have another contest for next week, but who knows? But the contest for this week was basically, just to leave a well thought out comment on any of the videos from this week, either from the video on Monday, Tuesday. I'm sorry, from the videos on Monday, Wednesday, or Friday, or today. Leave a well thought out comment, and then I do have business partners that are part of CryptoTrader's room. They're co-founders. Danny Baker, welcome, buddy. It's been a long time. But my co-founders and myself will be basically looking at those comments and picking the best comment to give them access to our traders chat room. But this is going to be the last week for that contest, so I highly recommend. Definitely leave a well thought out comment, and like I said, you might have the ability to win that contest. Danny, I've been good, bud. Hope all's well with you, man. I don't know if you're back from Thailand yet, or you're still in Thailand. But welcome, Danny. Yeah, I thought you were MIA for a while, but I was like, yeah, I think he's in Thailand still. Martinez, welcome, buddy. Hope all is well. But yeah, guys, it does not look like I'll be getting any entry in today. So I'll be happy to just kind of converse with you guys and have a conversation. There's really nothing that's going to be moving like crazy. Bitcoin is in the positive now at 1%, so that's good. Ethereum, 0.5%. Or I'm sorry, Ethereum Classic, 0.5%. I did buy my son some Doji coins, so it's not looking too bad for him. He's still under. I think he got it at 136 Satoshis. It's 120 Satoshis now. But I think that's going to be a long-term hold for him. Yeah, it has been kind of slow, and I was hoping that today would be kind of a nice, either downside move or upside move, and just having nice volatility to try to find an entry. But yeah, when the market is just moving sideways, it's like there's no sense of getting an entry because you just don't know how it's going to move, to be honest with you. But Ethereum doesn't look good. I mean, it's just moving sideways. It's just consolidating, and I would rather have it move sideways any time of the day than having to really trend sideways or trend downwards. And these support and resistance are, from a while ago that I plotted out, and it seems to have somewhat maintained them because it came really close right up here on that 1417, and then bounced up and just trending sideways basically. But yeah, today's a slow day, very slow. But I do have about 13 more minutes left on this live stream. And like I said before, I highly recommend you guys checking out our website and signing up for our mailing list. And we'll send you information, or we'll send you an invite to our free general chat room to keep this conversation going. And I will be on that free general chat room today from 1 p.m. Eastern time zone to about 1:45 to 2 p.m. Eastern time zone. So if you're already on that chat room, definitely join and let's have a conversation and keep this going. Compression leads to expansion. True. Yeah, I usually like to say, sideways movement is good because then, the uplift is even going to be better. As long as somebody doesn't step in that's sitting on the sideline and is very impatient and hasn't moved and they just decide to dump everything. And that's one thing you guys really have to be careful about, especially in the sense of the order book. Just because something is in the order book, it's not 100%. You have to really factor in the probabilities of what could possibly happen. There could be somebody sitting on the sideline with tons of coins that they're looking to unload at that market sell level, or vice versa. Somebody's looking to buy tons of load of coins at that market level, and they don't want their order to be in the book, or they could actually pay a little more and hide their order and still have it in the system, but it's completely hidden from everybody to see. So there could be somebody that has a huge order to sell that has it hidden. Now they do pay an extra fee. They pay a higher fee to hide their order, but when they're making out a huge profit, to hide that order might be very beneficial, because then that's not going to really, throw any type of throw a red flag and say, "Whoa, this person's trying to get out. Let me sell everything before they get out," because they're going to cause the price to crash. Yeah, Martinez, I knew what you meant. Expansion. I knew exactly what you meant by that. But thank you so much for joining, man. I appreciate it on this very slow Friday. But let me know if you guys have any questions. I definitely want to, be able to converse with you guys, or ladies. I don't know if we have any ladies on this live stream. But yeah, there are a couple females that are getting into the crypto space, and that's it's definitely a good sign. And I'll be honest with you guys, females make great traders. They really do, because they're very selective, and they're not risk takers like guys are. I think guys can be risk takers, but females, man, especially when my wife is watching me trade, and she's like, "No, you should just get in at this price," and I'm looking for a bottom price, and she's like, "No," she's like, "It'll probably come down to this price, and then it'll move up." And she's been correct a couple times where I didn't listen to her, and she's like, "There you go. You could have made $3,000 there, and you didn't listen to me." I'm like, "You're absolutely right. I should have listened to you." But yeah, females definitely make great traders. I'll be honest with you about that. And there are some great, females that are great traders on the stock market that I followed in the past. They're very careful about their risk. You're back to reality in 2 weeks, Danny. Yeah, dude. 2 weeks will go by quick. So enjoy it, man. You've been out there for a while. But yeah, Ethereum Classic has got to break out, and she needs to really break out above. She's going to have another resistance currently from where she is. So the 1851 is not going to be the first resistance that it's going to have. It's really going to be that 1760, between 1750 and 1760. It is going to be a resistance. And reason why that is, let me go ahead and draw a trend line there. So right in that range there, and I'm gonna make that a little darker. And we'll change the color to neon. So she's got to break out above the 1750-ish, 1760 level. And the reason why that's going to be a very good resistance is because really 4 times or 3 times it attempted to break out above it, and it could not really break out above it. And the first one is going to be right up here. Let's see if I can do a little bit of paintbrush. We'll change that to, let's change the color on that. We'll change it to red. So right over here is going to have, the first time that it actually attempted to break out. I got to delete that. So first time it actually attempted to break out above that 1750-ish, 1760-ish. It couldn't do it. Third time was right over here. Let's go ahead and put another circle there. And then the third time, right about here. So it had a hard time breaking out above that level. And considering it didn't really break out above that level, that's going to be really the test to see if she will actually make it up to that level and break out above it with a vengeance. If she can't break out above it with a vengeance, we know that it's a strong, very strong support, and that's going to be the 1750. We'll just say 1750 to be on the safe side, but it could be between 1750 and 1760. So those 3 times, that it attempted to break out and it couldn't break out. So that kind of shows me that that's a very strong resistance, considering 3 times it attempted to break out above it and it couldn't do it, and it kept on getting pushed back down. So if it breaks out above it, it's got to break above it with a vengeance to possibly get up to the second point of resistance, and that's going to be right in the 1850 range.
I have it. And you? Me too. I'm starving. Are you hungry too, Leo? Yes, honey.
Logan, that's a great philosophy, man. Long-term hold BTC, Ethereum, ETC. Yes, I completely agree. And Danny, I'm glad you're having a ball out there, man. You should be. I've heard a lot of great things about Thailand. Real cheap too. Definitely your money goes a long way there. Next target, 0.1. 0.1 on what? What would be the next target? Ethereum Classic.
What is that? Stickler?
All right, let me get out of there and kind of we'll look at Litecoin one last time before I get off this live stream. .01 for ETC. Yeah, it could definitely do it. It could. I think it's still undervalued. I really do. I'm not currently buying at this level. I mean, I definitely want to see if it's going to break out above that 1750, 1850. And if she can, and she corrects nicely back close to that, hopefully $12, $13 range, I'll definitely be paying attention on it. I won't get in at that range. I definitely want to see it, break below 10 for me to take really another position. And if anybody took a position below 10 when it actually broke below 10, at one point you're probably up 70%, considering it went up to $17. Yeah, and I think ETC has more room to pump, so if anybody's holding ETC, I wouldn't worry too much about it, to be honest with you. As long as you're happy with those profits and you're taking a little bit of profit off the table, and then possibly using the profit and the capital that you took off the table, and be able to use that for another entry, for a better entry, that's probably the best thing to do. But yeah, it doesn't look like that it's going to be getting to my entry point today. Like we talked about, the market is pretty stagnant. It doesn't seem to be moving. But, if anybody's up, especially my time zone, Eastern time zone, a little before 12, there seems to be a lot of movements that's happening. That's usually a lot of the volatility, either to the upside or downside. I'm usually sleeping by that time because I got to wake up early with the kids, but it's a great opportunity if you are awake to see if it's going to have a great correction for you to be able to get an entry in. But I will be definitely putting in an order for at least 23.50 on Litecoin to try to get an entry there, and then I'll be putting in an order for 2,000 for BTC. I doubt it'll get there, but it doesn't hurt to put in those low ball offers. Worst that can happen is it doesn't get executed. Best that can happen is it hits it and gets executed, and then you wake up, it hit the 2,000 level for you, and then it's really back up to 2,300. So you're up $300 per coin. I don't think Logan's going to sell any BTCs, Danny. I think he's holding for life. I mean, he bought it bottom barrel. He bought it cheap. So if I was Logan, yeah, I would have probably locked in some profit, but I don't think Logan's going to be selling. I think, Logan, you were probably buying it in the $31 range, or 31 pounds. And then you were buying, I think, Ethereum at like 71 pence. From what I remember, conversation that we had. But guys, I definitely love the Litecoin chart. I mean, it's this, and this is a trader's dream, to be honest with you, having these major up and down swings. And, as long as you don't buy at the high and you don't panic and sell, that it has the ability to get back up to the point. And I think a lot of these cryptocurrencies, especially the most popular ones, have done that. They have crashed, but they've also come right back up to the level where they were, or just a little below that level. So as long as you don't panic, it doesn't hurt to just kind of, withstand that dip, because it is going to come right back up. Buyers are going to support this to bring it back up. But I mean, if this was in the stock market, I would say get out if it starts to dip, because more than likely it's going to dip and never come right back up. But with cryptocurrencies, I mean, there's only there's 750 of them. So if they come down, they're only going to come right back up. It's just a matter of how long it takes for them to get back up to the level that you're looking at. But these up and down swings, I mean, from 38.91 down to $20, going right back up to 36, coming back down to 19. I mean, these are great up and down swings that every trader would basically love to get into and be able to channel this thing. And what I mean by channel, I mean, you're buying it low, it gets up, you take a profit, you wait for it to dip, you buy more, it goes up, you sell. You're continuously channeling these up and down type of dips that we're currently seeing. Yeah, I agree, Danny. You should definitely take a little profits. Definitely take little profits. I mean, imagine if Logan would have, sold everything at 2,800 and then bought back at 1,900. Which I would never recommend selling everything, because we just really don't know what it's going to do. But at least lock in some profits, and then use the capital, the profit you have, to buy a little bit more. Take the misses on a holiday. There you go, man. There you go. Do I have any trades active present? Yes, I do. I still have Litecoin 150. I bought total of like 1571. I have 125 of that left, but that's it, really. I am looking for just a better entry to get in, and I wish I would have taken advantage of Bitcoin dropping, below 2 grand. I wish I would have taken advantage of that, but I think I was waiting for a bigger drop. I was hoping that it would drop to that 1725, 1750. And it definitely didn't. But an entry at 2,000 would have been very sufficient, considering I could have made 350, 400 per coin at that time. But it is 11:30, guys or ladies, and I do appreciate you joining this live stream. Thank you so much. If you haven't done so already, please click on that subscribe button. That's really the only way to be notified, by clicking on that post notification to be notified that I'll actually schedule a live stream, or I might just do a spur of the moment type of live stream on kind of an off day. And if you don't click on that post notification, you will not be notified that I'm doing a live stream. So I definitely want you to join these live streams as much as possible when they're scheduled, or when I kind of do them spur of the moment type of thing. And if you find this video helpful, if you find this live stream helpful, please click on that thumbs up, as well as connect with us on Steemit, Twitter, Facebook, as well as signing up to our mailing list on our website. And there are links at the bottom of this video, but you can go to www.cryptotradersroom.com. Now, when you sign up for our mailing list, we will give you access to our free general chat room. And that's a great place to kind of hang out and keep this conversation going after the live stream ends. And it is basically 24/7. There's traders from, or people joining that live stream from all over the world. So, there is always going to be somebody on that live stream that you're able to converse with and have a conversation. And I will be on that live stream. I will be on that free general chat room today from 1 p.m. Eastern time zone to about 1:45, 2 p.m. Eastern time zone. So if you want to definitely connect with me and you're already part of our general chat room, please log on at that time and we can definitely continue this conversation. Danny, yeah, we have just basically a landing site, CryptoTrader's Room. I mean, you've been gone for a while, and I know you've been with me on this live stream since day one. But yeah, we do have a kind of a landing site, and we are working on revamping that. And that just takes a little bit of time, but everything's working out great. But you're already part of the group. You're already part of the CryptoTrader's trading room. But yes, we do have a website. But thank you so much for joining. I appreciate it. I want you guys to enjoy your weekend, protect those trades. Definitely, if you're looking to get in, wait for a healthy dip based on support and resistance, and then looking at the order book to determine if your support and resistance lines that you plotted out are pretty accurate, or at least the probability of them being accurate is pretty solid by looking at the order book and taking a look at where those orders are. But until next time, I appreciate you guys joining. Thank you so much. Guys, enjoy your day and happy trading.